Hi, I'm Lauren Edmonds. I'm the founder and owner of a school that supports children with learning delays. I'm hoping the space gives you something to think about. I'm going to talk about bullying and victims and mean behavior and aggressive behavior and self-control, because all of this is something that parents really they worry about. I think the children who are at the receiving end of aggression, those parents really do worry that their child is going to be safe. And then the parents who have children who are giving the aggression are really worried about what their child's going to do and are they going to get kicked out. I think, and I'm really stereotyping the worry here, I'm just broad brushing it. But it's so interesting that you can't have a victim without a bully, and you can't have a bully without a victim. And the word bully is something that I really I don't like talking too much about, because actually often it's just somebody being mean. And then, of course, this understanding that every single behavior is a communication of something else. Behavior is the manifestation of intention and thought and emotional wellness and skill and ability. It's not the thing to be addressed. It's the thing that tells us to look for something else that needs to be addressed. So as a school, I don't talk about the word bully because it's a big label, and it's, in my opinion, it means targeted, directed, ongoing, mean, ugly behavior that's intended to destroy somebody else, and we can absolutely deal with that. It's just a kid who's really struggling and acting out his struggles and being mean or ugly, or sometimes even violent. And we need to look at the struggle. The question I have always from a school perspective is the social system able to contain or hold and be gracious with the bad behavior over a period of time while the child gets support? Well, if the child is not getting support to develop the underlying cause of the behavior, then no, the school system cannot handle that. That's a parent problem, in my opinion. The parent needs to get a handle of that, because the school system and the children at school cannot be the brunt of a child's dysfunction when nothing's been done about the dysfunction. Then the same thing could be said about the victim. If a child comes to my school and they always feel like they're being targeted or attacked or picked on, we have to strengthen the child, because strong children don't get picked on a regular basis. They stand up for themselves, they move through skill, they handle the person that's being mean, and it can take some time, but they get there. So I have a school where if a child comes to me with such high anxiety that they end up being picked on, that's when the work starts, the beautiful work starts. And when they're picked on, I get a chance to go, say stop. And I can stand right there and say, tell them to say stop. And they normally say in this very squeaky voice, stop. And I go, okay, beautiful. How does that word feel for you? Can you say it a bit louder? Stop. Can you use their name? Stop, John. What else can you do? What other words do you have? Can you stand tall? Can you square off your shoulders? Can you look serious? Can you lean forward? Put your hands on your hips. Do the Wonder Woman pose. Can you feel your power? Did he listen? Did he not listen? Oh, he didn't listen. That's interesting. He doesn't believe you yet. Do you believe you? Can I help you to believe you? All of that is very interesting, because as much as I'm saying a child's behavior is an indication of their trauma or their distress, the child's positive behavior is an indication of their strength and their groundedness and their centeredness and their belief in themselves. All behavior is a measure of what is happening below the surface, which means we don't want to punish and make small the bad behavior and then bring in positive behavior that is just the behavior with nothing behind it. We want the behavior to come from somewhere solid, from some internal shift in the child. So when I have a child who is really dysregulated and they come to school with diagnoses like ODD or PDA, oppositional defiance disorder, or pathological demand avoidance, or whatever else they're coming from a DSM point of view, their diagnosis is big and scary, and everybody is, we need to make it more comfortable for this child. No, we need to be very aware of what that behavior looks like and keep that behavior there, and then talk to the child behind the behavior. Develop the child that's behind the behavior. And then you watch those behaviors dissipate. You watch positive, powerful improved behaviors slowly start to take over. The old behaviors, that pathway, that neural pathway gets weaker and weaker. And you might see it every now and again. It's a fallback. It's a tool in their toolbox, but it gets less and less, and the child starts to experience themselves in this different way. But that's because underlying their emotional state, their ability to move through the world has fundamentally shifted. And we drop the diagnosis. The diagnosis is suddenly no longer there. As long as we're seeing a doctor that can look at the child for where they are and see that things have shifted. And parents who can see that things have shifted. I love that we can go and get a diagnosis and feel seen and understood and known. But when we get too stuck in that, when we feel like it is thank goodness, now I know what it is, and then we make excuses for that, and we forget that this child is going to be an adult we want to be proud of. He's going to be a teenager I'm going to have to parent. We want to make sure that we are talking into the child's fears and safety and anxiety and skills and sense of themselves, and internal versus external locus of control, and their self-esteem and their self-worth, and where they get their self-esteem and their self-worth from, and what diminishes it, and where they are as a human being, so that they can unlock all of the other skills. And that's when I start to see an increase in, I suppose I would call IQ, emotional intelligence, social intelligence, intellectual intelligence. That's when I start seeing all of that start unlocking. It's quite remarkable when we see the child's behavior as a communication, not as a stigma or a label or something to be ashamed of or punished, that we see it as this kid is telling me something. Let me be the person that really listens, really, really listens, and does something about it. Now, professionally, teachers do this professionally, and they should be doing this professionally. Teachers should be developing themselves, building their own self-regulation as professional development. Not just learning another literacy program, not just learning another way to discipline, but developing themselves, self-soothing techniques. Teachers do this professionally. Parents need to be pseudo-professionals when it comes to this stuff as well, because it's not their actual job. But from a school's perspective, the adults in the room, the teachers in the room, need to be understanding that behavior is communication, that if we label it, we run the risk of applying the symptoms under the label to the child and not looking at the child, and we have to do that. And specifically when the word bully or victim comes up, because we can strengthen and heal both children so that they can become remarkable adults in our society.